Yes, hello.
Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes, and all that. My
Yes,
goodness.
we are back. Black Connections with Simon and Sylvia, 91.8 Hayes FM, local radio where you live.
Yes, indeed. And we are joined by Danielle. Hi, Danielle.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Although you can't see my face, I can actually see you very, very clearly.
Yes, we have to introduce Danielle as a local
Author.
Yes.
A brand new author. Well done.
Very new.
Yes, very new.
Exciting, hard work, but I've done it.
Excellent,
My
excellent.
first book.
Wonderful. So you've written your first book. Is it a novel or is it an instruction manual?
Well, it's combined. It's based on two halves. It's got a novel in the beginning on part one.
Right.
And in part two, I'm basically discussing issues, involving players and how women can avoid, by being at the hands of a player.
Okay. Let me just halt you there for a minute. For those of us who are like dinosaurs, i.e. Simon, who are not up with the latest, conventional speak.
Okay.
What do you mean by players? What are you referring to when you talk about players?
Okay, well, as I've put it in the book, a player is a person, it can be a man or a woman, that focuses their attention on winning the affections of their prey to get what they want for them. In the dating game, and based on this book, it's a person who is skilled at playing others and someone who seduces the opposite sex by pretending to care about them. They're frightened to commit to a relationship. Basically, they enjoy the challenge of the conquer of sex, the pursuit of sex, and basically a lot of people get hurt because of their games, because at the end of the day, if they were honest about what they wanted and, dedicated themselves into a relationship, then a lot of women and a lot of men wouldn't get hurt.
Okay, let me stop you there for a moment, because I can see that this book has a wealth of information about what's going on the dating scene at the moment. Would you say that this kind of behavior is extremely prevalent amongst young people on the dating scene at the moment? At the moment,
I think it's around the young teenagers, young adults. I mean, it happens with adults as well, young adults. It's on the dating scene at the moment. It's something that I would like to hope we could avoid. At the end of the day, if a lot of women educated their daughters about the kind of men that are out there, and the kind of, obviously with, men as well, their parents are obviously educating them about women, but obviously based on my book, I think a lot of things could be avoided if we kind of are aware of what players, try to do to kind of get us caught out in their games. Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at the index page of your book at the moment, and you've got chapters in it like Every Girl's Dream, The Chancer, The Ultimate Player, The Dating Game, A Love Gone Wrong, Fighting Depression. Well, I also understand, certainly very early on in your book, you do say that some of this book is based on your own personal experience.
Yes, it is. The story, the novel is based on my life story.
Right.
It starts off talking about my life growing on without a dad. It talks about the relationships I've gone through, having a dream. I was at uni, I was going to be very successful, I was doing all my exams. I got BA, bachelor's degree, I got everything that I wanted to have. I made my family proud. Then I got caught up with the wrong kind of men, and with that I let my family down in the sense that I disregarded whatever they said, for my benefit, and I continued to follow the road of being with the wrong kind of guy, and to the point that, I fell pregnant. I was in a city far away from my family and friends, and, at the end of the day, being a single mum was not what I always wanted to be. I wanted to have that bond with a father figure in my family life.
Okay. Let me just remind people of what the title of the book is, because we've just been reminded that we haven't even said it yet. It's actually called Players versus the Unconventional Woman, and presumably we've asked you a bit about what you define as players. What would you define then as the unconventional woman? What does that mean to you?
For me, well, being unconventional means being ambitious, independent and strong-willed. It means setting your own standards and refusing to lower them. if you can't abide by an unconventional woman's rules, you better step in another direction. She is.
Yeah, that's Simon.
She is
step
very
aside.
proud.
You know, I kind of feeling Beyonce's to the left, to the left.
And she will not accept the rules that players feel are acceptable.
Right. So,
Just, you know, and I'm trying to, I'm going to be, you know, I'm trying to be tactful here.
Oh, go on,
because, and I know this book is not about male bashing, because you've actually said it, that, you
not
know,
all men are
players are on both sides.
Yeah.
But don't you feel that when you mention the word player, most people think about a male?
Yeah, they do. Because well, yeah, I mean, they do, because back in the day, it's always like, man, he's playing, he's a dog, he did this. But I think also for a man to be a player, I actually think he was actually a nice guy in the beginning, and he probably got hurt by a lady, and that's made him have another perception.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I have said that to a lot of people. I said, it all goes round, you know. But you hurt a guy, he's going to make it his, you know, his heart is closed. And then he's going to go ahead and hurt a lot of women, and the cycle goes on.
It goes on, but at the same time, it's all down to choice, because the way I see it is, a player will play. He has that decision to say, do you know what? If I want to cheat on my woman, then I don't have to. He can look at the rights and the wrongs, but if he goes and does it, then he's made that choice to do it. Yes. And for the reason, you know, when guys say, oh, I couldn't help it, you know, she tempted me. Well, you got tempted, but, you know, you had that choice to say no.
I mean, yes.
And I think also the other side of it is that the woman has the choice to accept it, or to say, I'm not going to accept it.
Yes, because for every player there are women who are prepared to play.
Yeah, but then I've had circumstances where I didn't know a man had a woman, and therefore he's played, and I've accepted him.
On face value.
And then I've been the one that's caught at the end of the rut, and I've had his woman calling my phone and abusing me when it's not my fault. I never knew your man was playing you, so you can't involve me in your mix-up.
So essentially, Danielle, this is what the book is about, and I'm sure, I mean, you actually have it on sale on Amazon. It's also available on Kindle, because that's how I've got it.
And it's also available on my publisher's website, Memoirs Publishing, because if it wasn't for them, for Tony Tingle and Chris Newton, I would not have this book in front of me today.
So you've got hardback,
yes,
as well as electronic versions.
Yes.
What I was going to say,
I mean, what do you think the response has been to your book? I mean, from both the female and the male gender. What has been the response?
So far, I've had a lot of positive feedback. I've had friends that said it's been a page turner. I've had friends that said it's actually brought to light some of the things that they've gone through and didn't realise, you know, that could build up, and, you know, they've not kind of dealt with it. I've had people say that I've covered a lot of topics. You know, I've not been biased. I've kind of expressed
quite even-handed.
Both yes. Men, I mean, I've got male friends who've actually been very supportive, and they've read. I mean, I've had an ex as well that's in this book. No, I had to do it correct. I've given them all the parts, you know, I've given them pieces of where they were put into the book, and I've let them read for themselves what I thought about them. So before I went ahead with it, I wanted them to, you know, agree with what I said.
Sure.
And, you know, I've had their support regardless of whether I've done it. I mean, there may be others that were not quite happy.
Quite happy about it, yes.
But at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be happy about what I have to say, because it is a very personal book. And at the end of the day, I've uncovered a lot of things that my family didn't know I went through when I was living up in Nottingham. And, you know, it was a very emotional time to let my family realise, you know, this is what my granddaughter or my daughter went through, you know, and at the end of the day you make mistakes, but you learn from them. And those men, even though I can say, yes, they caused this drama to my life, I would not have been able to write this book without them.
Okay, let me just ask you, obviously that book is very personal, it's come from a very personal place.
Yes.
Do you have another book boiling up inside of you, do you think?
Well, I've had people asking me if there's a part 2, because they've been so happy with what I've done, and it's such an achievement. I mean, it was hard doing this book with the kids. To be a mum, working and having children, it took a year out of my time of no sleeping, you know, going to bed at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning once they'd gone to bed, getting up for work. So now that I've just, you know, set up my own kids label as well. I don't know if I'm going to have to find time to do it, but anything's possible with me. I'm very determined, and I always do what I plan to do. So maybe next year, you know, once I've had a bit more drama in my life, you know, I might do another one.
All right, Danielle. Perhaps you don't need drama. Perhaps you can write a part 2 of calm now.
No, it will be.
No,
but the thing, I think it will be a lot. I'm very positive now. I've made this achievement, and hopefully from now on, good things will happen. It'll be pure success, and I'll be able to write about my successes.
Excellent.
Because for me, I think that is what the second book should be about now. You've got past the, you know, the initial initial drama. Now it should be the positive.
Having said that, though, people tend to like to read about drama, don't they? But
that's what makes it.
you don't have to live it. So remind us, what's your book called again?
My book is called Players versus the Unconventional Woman by Danielle Brand.
Lovely. You are a local resident. You live in the West London area, which is even more of a sort of a shout out for us in West London. I think also that the book is obviously properly published. It's available on Amazon. It's also available on Kindle, which is very 21st century. So yeah, we wish you every bit of luck with it, and of course, if you do another one,
please let us know. But a crowning thought from me. I mean, what would you say to other women who, quote, have a little bit of drama in their life? Do you think they should put it to pen and put pen to paper, and it will, I think, cleanse them, so to speak?
I think no, it's actually quite a healer.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
What made me do it is that so much anguish and upset had boiled up. It got to that point I burst, and I actually got really depressed. So I think if the women are going through, heartache or bad relationships, or they're at the hands of a player, or even abusive relationship, talk to someone. Write down your thoughts, get it out of your system. If you want to write a book. Anything's achievable. And at the end of the day, let out whatever hurt you have, because if it builds up, it doesn't make you a better person. All you have is anger.
Okay, lovely. Look,